And we are live. So this is the regular meeting of RFM at Agile Ventures. And Faith already put into the chat window. Hello, it's Faith, it's Matt, it's Mike, and myself. Maybe we'll have Tunita maybe joining us. I think I will ask her on Slack if she wants to join, because I have worked on her pull request a little bit. Tony, do you want to join us? Yeah, and I think we have plenty of pull requests to talk about. Oh, and by the way, I'm also maybe Mike. Same. Because yeah, we have plenty of pull requests going on. I don't know if we can, if we're able to talk about all of them. I don't know, maybe Faith and Matt, do you want to start? I think your work is still working on the FAQ thing. You had some strange errors on the build server. The only thing that I did was to merge the master, and I'm a little bit confused because Git told me there are 95 commits that haven't been merged into the FAQ branch. So
you know what I think it could be is that I think that maybe when I said that that we're pulling in every time, like every day that we're working on it, maybe I was just saying git pull, and so I think it was maybe just pulling in from the remote from that branch instead of from the master. So I think actually I need to say git pull like origin master.
Yes. So git pull is doing two things. It's actually two-step and put it into one. Git pull is first doing git fetch with just if you just do git fetch, it will pull all branches from one remote, which would be the origin remote, the default remote. You can also say git fetch and then a name of a remote if you want to get all the branches from there. Then it will merge the same branch on which you are currently on from the origin into your local branch.
Yeah,
that's what git pull does. So git pull will always merge. It will not merge the master, because that would make sense.
Yeah, so that's helpful if, for example, like we have on this particular branch, for example, we have 4 or 5 contributors, and like Faith's making changes and she's pushing up to the remote branch, and then I'm pulling down her changes, but then I'm not pulling down master changes. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and that also makes sense why we're having weird failure as well, because it's actually, if you look at the build, and why it's failing, it's still finding the FAQ on the page instead of frequently asked questions, which is something that FAQ hasn't existed on there for a long time. So I think maybe that has something to do with it. Although,
the builder will always check if your branch is passing. Plus, if you would merge it into master, if the master branch would succeed. So right now, I've just pushed master upstream and pull request is failing. That doesn't.
Yeah, so it's strange because so I guess that's why it would be different, that the push can pass, but the pull request fails.
Yeah. Bundle exit reg, exit with 1. Strange. Very strange. I merged the master. So how can it be that the master branch, but this branch doesn't? Because I just merged the master branch. Doesn't make sense to me. Not at all. I cannot explain it right now.
All right. So we did have a question about that. We were talking about deleting that. It was called single.js, and then we renamed it to show.js to keep it consistent with the new naming. But also it's a controller that doesn't do anything. So we were talking about deleting it, but then we didn't. So cool. Yeah, we can do that. And also, you mentioned on Slack about that you liked the Do you like the buttons for the frequently asked question links?
Yes. Maybe you share your screen and I'll show you what I mean exactly. I really like the index page. I would like to repeat that on the home index page.
Yep.
Could you maybe share your screen, or Faith, one of you?
Yeah, if you want to, Faith, I'm already sharing, but if you want to, Faith, I don't mind.
I don't care. I'll click on Matthew now. So you're focused?
Yeah. Also, yeah, I guess I have some questions about some stuff that's happening locally with my computer and not being able to run the test the way that I would like to be able to check before I push up. So I don't know if you can have a look. I'm not sure what's going on. Also, I do have some other colors for the buttons if you want to have a look. I didn't put it in the pull request, but yeah. What's that? Port 4200 already in use. Okay, yeah, that's because it's already running. And I have it here. So here. I mean, one thing that I wasn't happy with is the space in between these two, but yeah. I tried. What's up?
What's the font in here? Is it something like, what does do the magic? Is it custom CSS, or did you use something from Semantic UI?
No, it's just Semantic UI.
Nice. What's it called?
I'm not sure. You're talking about in here in the buttons. So.
It's a secondary button.
Yeah. It's an inverse secondary.
Yeah. The only thing that I like the design, however, I think it looks kind of not consistent. Not consistent with the rest of the page, don't you think?
You're talking about as far as coloring, or as far as?
Yeah, and we are not using inverse secondary button anywhere else.
Yeah, so that's why I can show you. I took some screenshots of some other designs that I could have put there on the pull request, but then didn't know if it was worth spamming the pull request with a bunch of different screenshots. So you have this one, which I didn't really like so much because it seems too much black on the page.
I would say it reminds me of as if somebody died, because it's so dark.
It's a bit anarchist, I think. And then you have this one is the one that I put there, and then you have this, which is not, I don't think is very nice. It's just the links, and then you have this one here, which I was leaning towards. I'm not sure. There's this one and there's another one. So there's this red one, which is danger. There's this blue one, info or primary something. There's this one, success, which is green. There's this one here. I quite like this one, but it doesn't have any hover effect. But I don't know. That one's quite nice, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I like the design. However, if we want to make it more consistent, maybe we should use it somewhere else also. I'm not a designer. Is anybody here with some knowledge in design, or knowledge in design best practices?
No. I mean, I was just
Sam was just the font. Like, we should try make an effort of using the same fonts, and the color scheme should be the same all throughout. It's basic.
So I couldn't hear the first part. So you're saying the last part,
the font, then the color scheme should be consistent all throughout the project.
It looks to me, I'm not a designer, but I think the font size is something else, isn't it? Assistant, yeah. How comes this is actually assistant UI button, front end CSS? And now it's
whatever I have in my browser, probably.
I think the default font is Lato. And maybe I think we also have some kind of strange custom CSS. Katarina once wanted us to use assistant, and I think we have
it seems like
somewhere.
It seems like that's the same as you have in the UI menu. Is
Yeah.
assistant. So I'm not sure. Maybe the font family is consistent. Yeah, this one's Lato, and the UI dot header.
Oh.
I mean, I can try changing this to.
How about just go ahead and remove the assistant font from everything? Like, could you see if we have style? If we have, so this looks, if it's later, do we have a file where we somehow override the font, the default font? Can you maybe check?
Yep.
I think we would be in app style CSS or something.
Okay, let me come here and.
Yeah, I'm absolutely not a designer. So consider everything that is related to UX or design in general, it's done by a layperson, and everything is as much as framework as possible, because I think, okay, people who did the framework made some convenient decisions, I don't know, and I just stick to that. But yeah, if something is not quite, looks a bit fishy, you can always like see what's the actual reason for it, and maybe just I don't know, remove it. Yeah, do we have a yeah? There we go, font family for
So
UI menu, UI button assistant.
So that's something I think that actually gets because I didn't add this, so this is something I think that when you
blame who added this? Was it me?
I don't have git blame. I don't think
it's so helpful.
Add that. Yeah, I think Faith maybe has, although not sure.
I'll quickly check out on my machine. Hang on for a second.
Yep.
I'll blame. Yeah, let me also share my screen. Focus on my. Now you cannot see anything, right? It's too small. Yes. Well. And assistant. So that was me. That was me. Also me. Why did I do this? And you're saying that because you did UI button, inverted secondary button, that would be probably, okay, that's mad.
Yeah, that's so the secondary is yeah. This button
So the only thing where we have assistant, UI menu, UI, I think UI button will be it, right? I don't know. It looks kind of weird. I mean, Matt, I'm going to focus on your screen again.
Okay. You want me to go?
So apparently it was me who added the fonts. But I mean, this does not look like the default of Semantic UI, right? I mean, if you check out the docs of Semantic UI, this just looks somehow different.
Yeah, I was looking here on. I did Semantic UI font family, and it led me to this theming guide. But then I was having a look here, and I didn't see.
But for example, if you now inspect that button here, like the blue one, what does it have?
They have this default font family set up for UI button.
Yeah, if you check out the documentation of Semantic UI, there's a blue button somewhere in there.
Yeah. So
I think it was, yeah, there we go. So you can inspect that one.
And fonts, family.
You can also go on Computer tab
Later,
and scroll to the very bottom.
So that's set up as later.
Yeah, and is it actually later? You go on Computed. There's another tab. It's called Computed.
Oh yeah, here.
And if you scroll to the very, or maybe layout, I don't know. One of those has the actual computed font at the very bottom. I think this is it. And now you can somewhere see.
Yeah, Z index is the last one. Oh, fonts. You have fonts here.
Yeah. So you're using Firefox. Maybe the arrangement is a little bit different. I'm using Chromium. For Firefox, it has probably a dedicated tab fonts. Okay, actually, how about doing away with assistant altogether? What do you think? I'm questioning the reason for using assistant. Maybe
Why?
for the menu.
Why are you questioning?
That's actually a good question. I mean, never change your running system, right? No, I'm just questioning it. So we have some custom CSS, which makes those buttons use assistant. And I don't know why, but something just doesn't feel right to me. This looks very different from the style of all the other pages.
So this is with later now.
I mean, what's your opinion on what do you think? Don't you think it looks very different from everything else? Why? Well, this is no liberation.
It looks different, but I thought it's different because we don't have something that looks like this page.
Why is it using liberation now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Very strange.
Where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? Maybe I don't have. Oh no, I do have Lato because UI inverted button, UI grid.
I don't know, but I seem to like the what's the other one? I prefer the other one to Lato. Assistant, maybe.
You prefer assistant over Lato?
So this seems like it's inheriting Lato, but then if I come here to fonts, it says Liberation Sans. Other fonts on the page: Assistant, Regular, Bold, Font Awesome, Deja Vu.
And what was it before you did any change? Before you made a change, was it using assistant or was it using liberation?
Yes, let's see. I didn't go to the fonts. So then it's using assistant, yeah.
Assistant bold. Okay, well.
Liberation Sans is coming in from system. So maybe that's a fallback. For sure.
I don't know. Actually, I would say I like the style. The only thing I would improve I don't know why, but something in my stomach thinks this looks different somehow. I don't, but I'm not a designer. Mike said he likes assistant, so okay. Well, I mean, why not? Let's just stick with the current solution. Maybe you can add more space from between the title and the area where you have the buttons.
Yeah, I tried to do that, and I wasn't finding an easy way to do it. Like I gave in, so I was trying to reuse this class that I made for the other one, message margin, with a margin top of 30. And so I tried adding this class to various different places on here, and it wasn't like here, for example, and it wasn't inheriting that margin top for some reason.
Hmm.
The other thing is, I was just gonna see if you wanted to see. Let me pull up the semantic UI buttons. If you wanted to see the way it looks like instead of a screenshot, if you wanted to see what it looks like, where's button? If you wanted to see the basic button, so here's the button page, and there's this secondary basic, I guess is this one here. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Secondary basic.
So to answer your question, you can always just add, for example, a row be above the buttons and say very padded basic segment or something, and that will give you some space. This is
you were talking about that the other day. I want to see that. So this is how. So this doesn't have the this hasn't inherited the.
Yeah, I think you can remove that custom CSS, and also if you do secondary button, I would in that case, I don't know, play around with a grid system. Either see if semantic UI has the button group. I think the button groups are arranged in one row. I don't know. You can check that out. And if that doesn't help, you can always build your own grid system and place every button inside a column, and then wrap the column in the right direction. You can.
I mean, the thing I struggled with a little bit with this is that we're iterating through, like, so there's only one button that we're iterating through many times. So that was a bit challenging for this here. So you just have one link to, and then I played around with this for an hour or more, trying to get this to work. So the way it's working is having a grid here, and then inside the grid there's the each, and then inside that you have the 5 wide column.
I'm pretty sure there's a Ember helper to arrange buttons and to groups of maximum size 4. And then you could create a new row, Ember helper groups, items, something like that. Item count. No.
There's a list of all the Ember helpers.
No, I would change the search terms. Ember helper group items count.
Group items what?
Count. There must be something like put this array into groups or into chunks of 4.
Displaying a list of items. Ember CLI group by.
And if that, I mean, you can also do it on in the route. You can always. I mean, why not just putting arrays into arrays in your route? I mean, you define the array in your route. Why not just putting it into an array of arrays right away? Then you can do each model as row, each row as slug. Okay, that would work.
Yeah.
Then you can add more space between the title page. You could put every button into a column if you need to. I mean, this is tricky. This takes some time. I also had to get some time to get used to the grid system. It's like you have to do a lot of try and error. I know it gets very annoying.
And I guess what exactly would the payoff be? The payoff would be just to remove this one CSS class.
Yes, because I don't like to have something like secondary button to be. So if you want to use custom CSS, at least use a dedicated class, not secondary button, because secondary button will override everything. like every secondary button. Secondary button comes from semantic UI. Don't use that custom CSS class.
Yeah. So I mean, but if I do here, like for example, I think that it won't custom buttons, for example.
Yeah, that's acceptable. So you can
well, not custom. Let's say like FAQ index
buttons. FAQ buttons, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because if I say FAQ buttons, then maybe I can use the same class for the index page as well.
Yeah, please do.
And then if I say FAQ buttons, save that.
Button maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but you see the point, right?
But so that doesn't inherit the CSS.
Maybe because the CSS. That's why I hate CSS. The rules when which rule applies is very complex. So there's a very complex rule set. So for example, an ID beats a CSS class, and so on and so on. If you check out the list of rules and which one are applied and which are not, you can see that they're ordered by priority. Yeah, you could do that, but that's not very nice. I mean, you shouldn't use an ID if you know the ID won't be unique.
Sorry, you shouldn't use an ID of what?
IDs are supposed to be unique on the page, and this one obviously appears many times. This would work.
Yeah, okay. Because it's iterating over.
Yeah.
So, but if you placed it here, for example,
then I would say within the element of ID FAQ buttons, every button should have a margin of so-and-so.
Yeah.
But honestly, the reason why I really don't like custom CSS is the people who did the semantic UI paid very much attention that those components, those basic components like buttons and columns and so on, they work nicely on all mobile resolutions. So what happens if you, for example, now shrink or increase or decrease the size of your screen? What happens? How does it look like? If you do custom CSS, you have to keep in mind all the different scenarios, and I get very quickly how to explain it. I sometimes when I write custom CSS, I had the experience that I'm trying it out for mobile and something breaks or something is just not quite how I want it. So I'm really trying to use their grid system because that will work on all screen sizes. Do you see what I mean? Like, do you see the argument?
Yes, I see what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah, you can definitely get in. It's a reason to, and yeah, like even with font sizes and with margins and with width and all that kind of stuff to use percentages instead of a certain amount of pixels, or to use REM instead of a certain pixel, because just because it looks good on your laptop doesn't mean it's going to look good on someone else's computer that's using a monitor or a mobile or these kind of things.
Yeah, for example, I mean, you can try out what happens if you resize the window right now. How does it look like? In Chrome, there's a developer tool to check out different screen sizes.
Yeah, you can do that here as well. I was just wondering if you want me to add back the custom CSS, because I don't have any custom CSS right now.
Okay, so it should look okay.
But yeah, I can.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you said column sounds so wide, column, and yeah. So for example, that one that doesn't look very nice, I would say. I think I would expect a stacked layout now. They shouldn't be 3 columns. They should just be 1, and those FAQs should all be on a mobile.
Yeah, but there's I guess there would be a I guess there would be a class that we could. I mean, either a class or adding, like, for example, you have custom CSS here for UI table, UI, so you haven't added that for buttons yet, but this is, taking care of the mobile first.
Yeah, I'm wondering what. Oh yeah, pagination dots. Oh yeah, right. Okay, there's a trick. If you check out the statistic page, you have those pagination things on the bottom. And actually, if you're on a mobile, not all of those buttons are visible. So the same paginations. How do you call it? The pagination buttons? Yeah, I think your backend is not running right now. Is that true? Maybe. Yeah. So long talk. I mean, there are two elements that are rendered at the same time. One is visible on mobile only, and one is visible only for all screens except mobile. One has 5 buttons. The smaller one has 3. The smaller one fits on mobile screens, and the larger one only fits on large screens. I think starting from tablet size. That would be 768 pixels. No, not this one. If you really go on statistics or on where else is it? I think statistics, and then your list of votes. Yeah, there you go. So there's only 4 buttons. So 1 and 0. So first page, last page, left and right, arrow left, arrow right. If you increase a little bit, then you see this dot thing. Yeah, I think there are only 2 pages. That's why. But if there would be more pages now, you would see. For example, if you check out the actual production, the website, you can see all the buttons. So that's why I wrote custom CSS, because I couldn't find any other solution. So I always write custom CSS as a last resort. If for some reason the CSS framework fails for me, usually I really try to avoid as much as possible to write custom CSS. There are other people who are saying writing custom CSS is just fine as long as you can maintain it. But I'm not able to maintain CSS, honestly. I hate to write it. I really try to write as limited as CSS as possible. Yeah, anyhow, okay. Actually, I like the pull requests. I like the FAQ page. The only things, there are some nitpickings, a little bit more space. Try to play around with the grid system. Also, one last question, maybe, Matt. Can you check if on the home index page, if we are using the accordion yet? Because we had the accordion.
So that's something that we talked about, and we took out because we thought that there wouldn't be really much need for it. But then, like we first commented it out, and then Faith pulled up the things that I had pushed, and then we talked about it and said, like, well, we have version control, so if we want to use the accordions, we can. So right now they're just links,
Yeah. So yes, exactly. Just remove the accordion altogether. I think the question component, like FA minus question, it's just the inner part of the accordion. There is on the index page, I think you have, maybe you haven't deleted that already or yet. If you go to the main index template, I think you still have the accordion component. Maybe you can check.
Probably, yeah.
Index
that makes sense.
Haml. No, the index Haml page, or I don't know how it's called. Index.
Yeah.
Oh no, HBS. I'm sorry. Haml is Rails.
Yeah.
HBS is handlebars. Yeah, that's the one. If you scroll down, you should see accordion somewhere. Yeah, you can remove that altogether. Not the FAQ question components. Just no. The hashtag UI minus accordion. That's a plug. That's Ember component from a plugin that makes semantic UI available in Ember applications. You don't need that. Yeah. Yeah. So for the record, we're using the Semantic UI Ember plugin. If you search for Ember Semantic UI, you will go get on a GitHub page which has some special components just made for Ember and using Semantic UI.
Yeah, I've visited their site before. It's nice. And so I was explaining to Faith. I don't know if it's here. Where is it that, because if we come here to the FAQ questions, we don't see where it's iterating, where the iteration starts. We just see that, like, this is kind of like what seems like a partial. So where is it the actual each coming from?
There is no each. If you go to the index page, every single FAQ question component is written there. It's defined there. There's no, this is one. This curly brace, FA question. That's the component.
Right. So could I not just just copy and paste this for the column stuff that you like, this whole thing here for the FAQ index page?
Yeah, why not?
And then just put the classes that I want for the buttons.
Yeah.
I mean, that way you don't have to do lots of. Although I don't know if that would be a code smell having the same exact logic in a different place, but
you can use another component which is nothing, which isn't doing anything else than having all those. Oh wait. I don't know. I see what you mean.
Or maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. Is there a way to do like what you're talking about, where instead of having one array, having sub arrays that are inside the columns and stuff, and then referencing it from the index.hbs and the or is it not available in the index.hbs?
Right now, you have the list of all FAQ questions in the route. Is that right? You have a route somewhere, the FAQ index route. It has all the list of all FAQ thingies. Actually, is it, Mike, is it actually interesting for you? Because I think it's kind of boring what we are discussing right now.
No, okay. It's interesting.
It's interesting.
I'm also actually working on some other project that's someone else created a lot of custom CSSs, and it's driving me nuts. So because things maybe at some point don't work as they should, and yeah, and this is a very good experience for me. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm just a little bit worried because we're spending so much time on it. Matt, you can remove that array from the route and just place the logic which FAQs we have into a component. So having the template where you arrange every FAQ key in one row is equivalent to that information here, like the list of all FAQs. Do you see what I mean? Or maybe, no, make it another way. You make an array of arrays here and place every fourth. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That's even better. Yeah. Bloop. There you go. Exactly. And then you can do a nested loop on both templates. This will not be a lot of code. So this is how you can dry it up. Yeah, I think you will need time to implement it because it will get a little bit tricky to get your head around the nested loop. But you see what I mean? Like, you see what I'm doing here, like, or what I'm explaining, right?
Yes.
All right.
I'm just muting myself because my wife is working and she's
yeah. Yeah, all right. I see you're on the right track. Actually, I would like to talk about something else. we have a couple of pull requests. So I will figure out what's the reason why why the build server fails on this branch. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'll figure that out. I did something else last week. I'll show it to you in a second. So let's do away with that. What's going on here? Check out, what was it? I think it was 613. Yeah, that is it. So Tonina was working on another branch. So we have 2 remaining pull requests that I would like to discuss. I think I will go on to just one. The rest, I think it's pretty clear. We talked about that already. So the second pull request is 390 again, the backend part. I would say it's pretty clear what to do here. And Mike already tackled a couple of things. So was he using enums? Haven't had the time to check that. Yeah. All right. So he was just basically implementing the suggestions. Okay, that's fine. Looks pretty nice. Okay, so the only pull request that is remaining, I would say, is this one here. So the point is, if you check out our application right now, and you check out the graph visualization of those relationships. Oh, wow, it takes a while. Now, so I'm going to check out the relationships between broadcasts. Come on. So problem is, what the heck does the color mean? So I'm the developer and I know what the color means. It means the medium type, if it's a radio show, it's a TV show, or it's an online show. And it would be great to have some kind of color legend somewhere here. All right. And the first step at it was to add some labels. Those labels that semantic UI gives us. Labels. That would be one solution to it. Just building a legend of 2 or 3 labels next to each other, like this here. You have TV, radio, and online, and so on, and just place that in the right colors on the top. Actually, there's an even better way. You can create. I'll check out the branch for you. Check out. Oh, so there's this nice D3 SVG legend plugin. And this is something that is for everybody who, so the next issue would be for everyone who wants to check out D3. So being able to work with D3 is crucial for data visualizations. D3 is the de facto library for building nice visualizations in your browser. So whenever you see a data visualization of some kind in the newspaper or whatever, most of them are implemented with D3. And I found out how to use that one. So this is a third-party plugin. If you check out the D3 repositories,
like,
all kinds of visualizations. Yeah,
Robert. So like the D3 the D3 graph doesn't come with legends. Now you're adding a plugin to pull in the legend.
Yes, exactly. So first of all, we have D3, which is just a super awesome library to build data visualizations of all kinds. Like, it's really not limited to bar charts or line charts or whatever. You can make anything with it. And examples we can do with it. It's yeah, they have so many different examples. Yeah, you could basically do whatever you want. And if you ask yourself, okay, I have this kind of information, I would like to yeah, create a message or tell a story, and you're looking for the right way to tell your story, then you can get some inspiration on this side. And yeah, depending on what you want to say, you say, I don't know, I want to have a map, or I want to have some other way of data visualization. It's a long topic. It's a topic for its own right. However, we are using D3. We are using D3, for example, for our graph visualization. This one here. We're also using D3 for, no, that was the same, for our temporal visualization. So that's the changes over time. So here you see a list of all broadcasts. This is a so-called bubble chart. And you see the best performance within the last 3 months. So, for example, red is not so good, while green is pretty awesome. The size of the bubbles mean the confidence in the data, so how much data we actually have. And brown means there's not enough data. This one, for example, was created within the last 3 months. So this is just a new broadcast. So that's what this visualization means. Here we have a legend already, because this one here is especially difficult to understand. This one here, I think, is a little bit easier to understand, but still. Yeah, so the first thing, we could improve it to add this color legend. And there's this color legend, which is available for D3 already. And what I found out is that our plugin, of D3 for Ember, there are 2 ways to bundle the files in the output. You can either do it like this. You add this one to your configuration, and then you have the available the option of importing everything as D3. Okay, and then you would say you would reference, I don't know, D3.select in order to select something. The other way to do it is like this one here. So if you can import line from a dedicated package of D3. So these are like packages from D3. There are some default packages. Those are default packages. They are bundled with this repository. But there's also a way of adding third-party libraries to it. And all you have to do is just to install them as a development dependency, and they will automatically be included. Everything that starts with D3 will be included in your bundle. And I found out that this plugin here has an issue where you are not able to bundle third-party plugins unless you bundle. Okay, this is not easy to explain. Okay, so point here is, if you do that, if you do it like this, it won't work. All right? Or like this. Okay? And so in the pull requests, can you still follow me? I'm having troubles to explain myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. So I did a refactoring. So D3, don't use global import. If you do the global import, you're not able to add third-party plugins. And you see how this one looks like. So everything we need, we imported from those D3 APIs. And somewhere we have that one. That's the key thing here. So this one is the global import. If you remove that, you have to import everything from those packages. But you also can import things from third-party libraries by just installing them. And I did that with the D3 SVG Legend plugin. This is not a default library or not a default package, but if you, I think this is the official page. Yeah, that's the page by the creator. So if you install it, then you can easily create legend like this, or like this, or like this, and just render it into the data visualization itself. So I think they also have some examples. No. No. Okay, anyhow, I got an example. Oh, no. I'll show you the example. Okay, this should be it. Format start. The red server is already running? What? Oh yeah, right. Takes a while. So, did you get what I mean? Like, was it so far okay to follow? Because it's a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is to have this color legend right into the right into the visualization. That looks much better than have it somewhere outside, right?
Yep, definitely.
And it's much smaller. Like, we don't have those fat labels. We just have like a square with a color and then a label, and that's it.
Yep.
And
it's cleaner, and it's something that someone's worked really hard to have as an option. So why not use it?
Exactly.
Like, if the people at D3 do really good work, so we might as well utilize as many tools that as we can.
And there we have it. So this is how it looks like, and I think I'm very happy with it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a lot better.
Yeah, actually, I was worried the labels were gonna be so huge.
Not at all.
Like with using the Ember.js labels.
Yeah, those are huge. Those are rather small.
Yeah,
they're not distracting at all. I think I'm very happy with it.
Yeah.
And the whole trick is that I mean, before that we didn't have we had a color scale, and this color scale didn't reflect the number of categories, and it was rather non-deterministic how the color was applied. And now what we are doing is that we have routes, and the route previously, yeah. So this is the graph data that has all the nodes and the edges. Does it make sense? Like, you fetch URL, and then you have some kind of response, and you put that into a thing called graph.
Yeah, so the graph calls like a graph method.
Exactly, and this is also coming from the backend. If you're interested, the data looks like.
The other thing I was going to say is that it's on my list of things at some point, but there's Free Code Camp has an entire section dedicated to teaching like basics about using D3.
Yeah, D3 is just awesome. Yeah, you definitely have to check it out. Like, everyone should check out the D3, because it's so much to learn, and you can do so many things with it. As a data scientist, it's really crucial to know about it. So this is how the data looks like. You have links and you have nodes. The nodes representing the broadcasts, the dots, and the nodes just have a number, a title, and a group. The title is put as a label next to it.
Yeah.
The group makes the color. So we have a mapping from colors, from numbers to a color. And we don't have so many groups. We just have like 5. All right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. And the links connect those IDs. Like we have an ID 493, and it will show up somewhere in here. I don't know. Oh yeah, and there's a weight, like a force that connects those 2 nodes. You maybe see that this edge here is longer than, I don't know, for example, this edge here. Or like these edges are very strong. All right?
Yeah.
This is what we call a force-directed graph. It will just lay out itself somehow based on forces. So there's a very weak force between those 2, but there's a strong force between all the broadcasts in here. So that's how the graph looks like. So our goal is to map these groups to colors, and we want to have the labels with the groups because the data comes without the label. It's just the number that's grouping as a group attribute, and that's it. We are not having the label. It's not responded by our backend server. But we know that this is the index of the ID of the station type. So in our database, station 0, is a TV media type, while 1 is the radio. Okay, does it make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Yep. Yeah,
So what we have to do is to get all all media types and their names. And we just take another call and we say store find all medium. This will get us all different media types. And this media, we put that into app templates. Visualize graph. Yeah, so here we are. So we have our model, and model has now 2 attributes. It has the graph, and additionally, we also have we have model media, and we put that into this component as well. So this component here is responsible for generating that window here, this whole thing. If we check out the implementation of that model, it's called graph minus visualization. Then we see that there are 2 properties that are injected into this component. And say this get, and it will do something with it. So these are the 2 properties that are passed into the component. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And now the only thing we have to do is to basically to have a parallel list of groups and labels, while the groups is the ID of a medium type, and the name or the label is the name of the medium type. And it's so easy to use. Like Legend Color is the one that comes from D3C SVG Legend. That's the plugin, right? So this is a new plugin that we're able to use. And then we have Legend Color, and Legend Color creates something where you can just call labels on it. And this color, what's this color thing? Yeah, the color is the color scale. So color is actually a color scale. So Legend Color just takes number of an array of labels, okay, and the color scale, and that's it. And you just place it somewhere. You place it into the SVG, and it will be rendered into the SVG itself.
Wow, nice.
And where do you choose the like whether it's a triangle or a circle, like the shape of the?
Yeah, I didn't choose anything. That's the default. If you need to choose something else, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw they had a lot different ones. Yeah, just.
Yeah, so you can have other shapes apparently. So
yeah,
this one's color. and then you have shape, and you say path, D3 symbol type, and then something. Yeah, but I'm fine with. We could, yeah, that's actually a good point. We could make it a dot, but on the other hand, I would say it's actually good to have it as a square because this distinguishes the color legend from the neighboring nodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's one thing that I would like to add before we're going to merge it. If you change the language, I would expect those labels to be translated. All right. And that doesn't happen. Why? When you change the language, it only changes the language on the front-end side. It does not request the data again. Okay? So if I click on change language, I would expect that the whole data will refresh. Make sense?
Yeah.
So that's not yet implemented. I don't know how to do it. I stopped there. So if you are interested to that, check out how to re-render the whole page on language change. I didn't find how to do that yet. Second thing, we have now the ability to create this nice color legend also here. If you check out the code for that color legend, then we have the bubble chart legend. And the bubble chart legend is a very complicated way of doing it without this nice color legend plugin. So this one here really is the low-level code of adding this color scale here. It's a very elaborate thing, and it's not very nice. We can save this plugin can save us a lot of code. So if you're interested into learning D3, I strongly suggest to do a refactoring with that plugin and just do away with all that code. So these two thingies here, that one, they come from those two methods: continuous, apparently the left side, and static, apparently the right side. And I think we can just do away with all the code. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't think it will be that difficult because it wasn't difficult at all after I found out how to use the third-party libraries. And yeah, maybe one thing to say about how D3 actually works. You have those functions here. This is all JavaScript, and you have functions that return something where you can apply another function that returns something where you can apply another thing. All right. Just to show you how that all goes together. For example, if I have the legend color here, and I place it, like it's actually just a callback. Right? So these three lines, they go together, and it's called here. Okay, so it's like a callback, and it will be called for something in the SVG which has the class legend ordinal. If, for example, so what's SVG? SVG is the whole graph.
Mm-hmm.
No? Oh no, here it is, SVG, and then you say it has a width and a height. So this is the root element of an SVG. SVG, who doesn't know what SVG actually is?
It's a small vector graph or something like this.
Yeah, it's an XML-based language for vector graphics. So you just say SVG, and then you have some shapes which have a width and a height and a radius or a stroke and so on and so on, and that will be rendered in your browser as, for example, that one. All right?
Yeah.
And
you can have pictures as well, though, like images as well can be, or is that a different type of SVG?
Yeah, it depends. Raster graphics. You have two different things between vector and raster graphics. So a raster graphic is like a square pattern of pixels, like this one here, and it assembles an image. And it's not scalable. If you zoom close enough, you will see those pixels. While on a vector, you can scale indefinitely, and it will always re-rendered.
Yeah.
So that's very, very nice. And the data visualization, it is an SVG, is a vector graphic, and that's very nice. So, and you can see how it works. Like this is actually an SVG file, render it on demand. So this is the whole thing. And then you have many different bubbles in here. And it all refers to some node in the HTML. That means we can use just normal jQuery actions to manipulate those things. So, for example, if I say, I don't know, place it on the top left corner, then it just says 0, 0. 0, 0. And it will be somewhere here. It's not visible apparently, but yeah, you see the point, okay? And what's in there? So we have the title. What's the title? Report München. Where is it? Maybe we check that out. Whoops. One click too much. So that one here is, yeah. That's the tooltip. That's the tooltip. I see. But where's the title then? Maybe here? Yeah, this is the title. So I can say, hello, Matt and Mike.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. And similarly, we have this nesting of elements, and elements can include other elements. And just something that maybe which is interesting for you, we have also some zooming behavior somewhere in here. So while developing on it, I did one mistake. I was adding the color legend not to the very top level element, but this container element, which contains the nodes and edges, and see what happens. So instead of using SVG, I'm using container, which is one level below SVG. So we have SVG as the whole thing, and then we append container to it. And yeah, somebody, probably because of that, called it class everything. So I gave it a class called everything. So I don't know what that means, but I mean, I copy pasted that code from somewhere. So I guess this refers to everything that is part of the actual data visualization, while everything outside the container is considered like the HUD or something. So what happens now is it's gone. No, that's actually not what I wanted. What? Are you serious?
So it's outside everything?
Maybe that's the case. Yeah, I had this strange thing that I was zooming and the color legend was also zooming. Like when I was zooming out, the color legend would move into that direction, which was not intended. Legend ordinal. Yeah, I think this one here. Yeah. Now it's gone. Why? Okay, this was looking differently last time. Yeah, this is it. You see? So just to, like, I think this is a nice illustration how D3 actually works. So we have some kind of zooming behavior, and this always changes something. Like it changes the position and the size of all things, of all children elements, somewhere in this SVG graph, in this SVG tree, so to say. So you see this color legend?
Yep.
Just because I appended the legend not on the top level, but on the, like, it's part of the inner data visualization now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to say. Long talk, small meaning. Please go and check out the pull request. When this language thing is fixed, we can, I would say, merge this. I'm very happy with it. And please make a refactoring of those two thingies here. This will be easy, I promise you. I guess this will be very easy, actually, with the SVG color legend plugin, because it's a single SVG file. Canvas, yeah, this one here. This is the SVG, so it's just containing the color legend. So you all have to do is just call that SVG color legend method, and that's it. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, Faith has lost. Oh, sorry, guys, I have to leave. I'm not feeling so.
Oh yeah. Sorry, didn't
Oh,
tell you that.
I was wondering where's she. I thought she had some connection problems, but yeah, she actually left us.
Extra quiet today.
Okay, maybe, but Faith can watch the video later. It's
yeah,
recorded.
she said she would do that. Yeah.
Okay, is everyone happy with his or her current tasks? So you're working on the FAQ thing. You're just doing stylings, cleaning up the code. You could also clean up the Git history a little bit, because we have plenty of commits, and maybe there's we could clean it up, like squash some commits into one. Up to you, as you wish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be good to get some practice doing that, actually.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to finish the FAQ pull request, and probably next week we can merge it. And I'm going to check the failing build server. If no one else wants to do it, I'm going to check the translation problem with the color legend thing. I'm reloading all the data when the language changes.
I mean, I'm still having. I guess I'll see how it goes. I'm still. I don't know if you remember. I mentioned at the beginning. I'm still having some issue with. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is. I mean, it's potentially. I mean, let me. I guess. I don't know if it's going on kind of long, the meeting, so maybe now is not a good time.
Yeah, 1.5 hours already.
So maybe, yeah. I don't know. But I did have a look. And maybe it can save you a little bit of time. I'll share my screen just for a second. I did track down the failed step for the build, and it's here on the frequently asked questions page, feature number 9. I'm on the FAQ page, and it's looking for frequently asked questions, and that's how it knows it's on the FAQ page. And if you see, it's actually finding this FAQ. So it seems like, and the only place that this FAQ is I think on the root. So that's, maybe it's not actually clicking through to the FAQ page for some reason, or when it's testing for it, it hasn't actually, I don't know. I dropped in a binding.pry, and the interesting thing is that when I have it, when I run the cucumber and stop it in pry, and I ask the current path, it says the current path is the FAQ, page, and the FAQ/who are you, for example, which is what it's testing for. And then when I run through it with binding pry, then it always passes. And when I take out the pry and I run through it, it always fails.
So that's some kind of timing issue, I guess.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking, is maybe this is testing it. I'm not sure if there's any JavaScript, like we need to say that it's using JavaScript. I guess one of the things that we added that I don't know if you got a chance to see was that we added, so maybe this is the reason why it's failing, is we add the scrolling, because what we're noticing is that when you clicked on the, I don't know where it is that I'm trying to go to, but when you clicked on the when you clicked on it from the home page link, then it would actually take you to the right deep link, but it would be at the bottom of this of the screen, and so it would just look like there was no content. So we actually added an import of the reset scroll position, and yeah, so maybe it's waiting for that. It actually is not. Here we go. So we added this, so maybe when it's actually going to that URL, then it's not waiting for it to scroll to the top of the page, so it doesn't see it. Although that doesn't really make sense to why it would this output here.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't explain why it's failing for the pull request build, not the push build.
Yeah,
although
exactly.
I mean, if it's just a timing issue, then this is just random. Like next time we rebuild the server, it will fail for the push build or something. So it was just twice in a row failing for pull request, not for push. Possible. I'll have a look into it and try to fix that. If it's a timing issue, fix it. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Awesome.
Mike, are you interested in the D3 thing? It's really simple.
Yeah, I think I will look into the refactor. I think I will maybe ping Matt so we can pair with him on that. Yeah. But I'm so the refactor of the legends, I think it's interesting, and I will pick that up.
Yeah, all you have to do is to go to the branch where we have the D3 color legend plugin already bundled. So the one that's in the pull request right now, and maybe just check out branch from there and start refactoring from that point. Does it make sense?
Yes.
All right. So you don't have to check it out from master, because master doesn't have the dependency or this plugin installed. If you start from the pull request, in the meantime, the pull request will be merged. But yeah, for now, please just start from that point on. I think that's easier.
Okay.
All right. Are there any questions remaining?
I mean, yeah, I guess just that thing that I said, that for some reason I am having trouble running cucumber tests locally, but we don't need to talk about that now. I guess I don't think I'll be needing to run like the whole suite of tests. I know that they're all passing except for this one. So and you already addressed that, and I can run this one test and not get it to fail unexpectedly. So, and that should be the only test I need to run. But maybe next week in the regular meeting we can. And now it's passing.
Yeah, there we go. It's a timing issue.
Yeah, weird. It literally just failed.
It's a timing issue. That's very common for full stack tests. They're prone to timing issues.
It's got to have to do with So now it's passing again. So,
what's the time issue? Is this like a timeout or something?
No, like if you want. if you want to see like what I think is the problem, I can show you real quick. Yeah, I'm still sharing my screen, right? Yeah. If I click on one of these links, then well, you can't really see it, I guess. But it was doing was it was showing this, and then we added the scroll this mixin that Robert created that scrolls to the top of the page, and so it seems like it's too fast for you to be able to see with the naked eye, but it was scrolling to to this here, and then the person's gonna be like, whoa, am I on the right page? What's going on? And they have to scroll to the top, but yeah, anyways.
I would say. So a timing issue in general is, for example, you have an assertion checking the page for a string, for example, frequently asked question, which you can see in the title right now.
Yep.
And it's checking the page even before you click on the link, or you click on the link and it takes some time to bring it to the page, but you check it before you're actually there. And that could be the problem.
Yeah, so if that were the case, for example, I could like put this here first so that I see the URL, and then that'll give time for it to check the page for.
I think we had this before, and this was the reason why we had I should see frequently asked questions was actually the fix to be sure we are on this page. I'll just have a look.
Yeah, yeah. So that failed because it's still saying that it's the root.
Comparing the URL, I think, is not waiting, while checking for a string on the page is a waiting behavior in Capybara.
Yep.
I will see. We'll have a check. Okay.
Anyways, I mean, it seems to be all passing now every time, so I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not passing all the time. So we want to have reliable tests on the build server.
Definitely.
Flaky tests are terrible.
And
confidence in your tests.
I don't know if you noticed, but this here is using that array of subarrays and iterating through them. So I guess that's the first step to doing what you were talking about.
Nice.
So and then I guess so I think you answered the question. You were saying that I would be able to reutilize this on the index homepage instead of doing that much longer thing. I can do the same thing, like I can reference this this route.
Yeah, so depending how much code you have to write in order to write the template. One thing of doing it is to wrap everything in a component.
Yeah, yep. And then use that component. Okay.
All right. Well then.
Cool. Awesome.
This would be it, right? So I will say see you next week at the latest. And it was a great regular meeting. I hope you learned a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Thank you. See you guys soon.
See you.
Bye.